Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Glad to be here at the lounge and, of course, on the Facebook page, or we should be on the Facebook page if all is working the way that it's supposed to. However, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Just a touch and go thing, I guess. Um, we've got Brandon with us again tonight. Brandon, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, just basking in the nice warmth of late December
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's
Get that
nice.
grin off your face. I see you smirking. All right, yeah, yeah. He's rubbing in that warm weather, but let me tell you know what, Brandon? I know where you live.
I know.
No, folks, we're just messing around. But on the other hand, it's good to have you back on the show with us here, Brandon. And as always,
Good to be
um,
here.
I enjoy doing streaming altogether to begin with, but it especially when we're doing something here at the lounge that is something that's not about me, right? It's not about me. It's not about you. It's doing something for somebody else, and I mean that to me that pays for it on its own, knowing that somebody can listen to our stream, whether it's today or tomorrow or next week, and pick something up from the stream that gives them the motivation to want to do better, to realize that they're not alone, or whatever it is that we might be talking about. So
Hmm.
it's sadly today is we're in the world today where they'll tell somebody, well, you need to go see a psychiatrist, and that takes money, and you know not everybody has medical where they can just go to a psychiatrist whenever they want. And there's a lot of people that don't like going to a psychiatrist. And I can respect the reasons why they might not want to go to a psychiatrist or to a
Especially if you
counselor.
listen to what a psychiatrist asks you. Like I've watched videos, and they get really personal.
Well, we have to. If I've never met you in my life and you come in as my client, I've got to get to know you. I've got to
Right.
know, like, how can if I'm actually going to help you, how can I help you if I don't know you?
Right.
That's from the psychology side of it all. Now, granted, do we know everybody that listens to the stream? No, we don't. But that's why we do different topics to try to cover every direction that we can. And we do it for that reason because not everybody wants to go to a counselor. Some people don't go to a counselor because they feel like they feel like something's wrong with them. They feel like that now they're beneath the rest of the world. Now that's
And if you look at it and society from a societal standpoint, unfortunately, people think there's something wrong with them when they have to go to a psychiatrist or a counselor because, let's just face it,
I'll agree with you.
society puts that label on people. Oh, well, there's something wrong with you if you have to go here.
And because and the thing is, these people that judge others like that because they go, if they find out, oh man, that girl's going to a counselor, there's something wrong with her. It's not true, and it's
I'll give you a
sad.
good example of that. I know someone personally in Pennsylvania who has to go to medical doctors for depression and stuff, and she's been judged because of it.
And it's sad because here's the thing. Not even me, someone that's been through college and done all the studies that I've done, the degrees that I have. Here's the thing. If I see someone tomorrow and I find out they're seeing a psychiatrist, who am I to judge them when I don't even know what they're dealing with?
Exactly.
But the world can be a mean place.
And a
And
cruel place.
it's funny that you brought that up and pointed that out, because that's going to fit some other stuff we're talking about. But the world can be a really dark place for people. It can. But who am I to judge somebody for seeing a counselor? What if that person's seeing a counselor because they were raped? Or maybe they were beat on? We don't know. We don't know the reason to judge somebody for going to a counselor. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't go when they need to. They need to have someone to rely on, someone to talk to, someone to help them get their map straightened out. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people won't go. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I don't know if you knew this, when I did studies back when I was doing criminal justice, we were doing a study on rape victims, sexual assault, things like that. And did you know that over 70% of rape victims won't go to the cops?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Now, the numbers could have changed since then, because it's been 3, almost 4 years that I looked that data up. But they won't go to the cops because why? Because they feel bad themselves. They feel dirty. They feel like, again, they're going to be judged. There could be many, many reasons behind it. Like, they could be afraid that something's going to happen to them. They feel like now they're beneath everybody else in the world because they let somebody put their dirty paws on them.
Same thing with battered women. They're afraid to go and get away from the situation because of the same exact thing.
And battered men. Don't leave out men, because men get battered too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Brandon. You're right. So, with that part of the topic tonight, if you are in a situation and you feel ashamed or embarrassed, don't. If that's what's going to help you, then you got to do what you got to do to look out for you, because I'm here to tell everybody right now, eye-opener, the world can be a very, very rough place. Society can also be rough. You got to take control of your life. You've got to say when it's been enough. You know, me and Brandon, we can do these live streams every day. And I pray every night that someone gets something out of it. But at the end of the day, it's up to you as a listener to make those changes. Now, it's interesting that you had brought up about that earlier, Brendan, because what we're talking about tonight has got to do with, obviously, drug addiction, recovery, depression, suicide, mental illness, and etc. But what we are pointing out tonight is this. Instead of sitting down and blaming the world because your life is in a sham, that's what's stopping you. That's what's stopping you from doing better. You're too busy worried about what happened instead of focusing on what you can actually do to turn your life around. What do you think, Brandon? What is your thoughts on this so far?
I agree with that 100%.
I'm not saying, listen, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty.
Haven't we all been though?
I've been through things in my life, and it would be some really rough stuff that I've been through. I'm not going to share that tonight because it's not about that. And instead of me trying to figure something out, I just sit there and soak in my own tears. I've learned the hard way. You can't sit down and just wait for things to come to you. If you do, let me catch up with you again in another 30 years and let's see if you've moved from that spot. Because I bet you haven't. And there's a lot of people that lives their whole life, and then when they get older, they become miserable, grouchy, careless, when this whole time they could have done something about it. And I get it, especially going through, drug addiction. That's not easy. And if some of you are still doing drugs, it's up to you. You got to make the choice. Do I think you can get through it? Absolutely. Do I think you can recover from it? Absolutely. Do I think you can have a successful life? Absolutely. I think everybody can. Now, believe it or not, there's been studies on this too, Brandon, on the way that the mind, the way that your mind controls what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And by changing the way your mind normally operates, that's when it starts to make a difference. You remember how I always talk about every morning when you wake up, give yourself 5 minutes, give yourself positive thoughts.
Yep.
For 5 minutes, and then eventually you'll wake up and you'll just feel good about yourself. You'll instantly think of good things about you, right? Same idea here. If you don't change it, it's always going to be the same, because that's the pattern that's the way your brain is, functions. And sometimes you gotta train it, right? You gotta train
it. Training your muscles.
Yeah. Train it to be motivated. Train it to be positive. Train it to be in a world of happiness instead of bitterness. And it's not easy. It's going to take some work.
I gotta say, I wake up happy every morning. I'm always happy about something, but it's amazing to me when I see people in my own family, and they're not suffering from addiction or anything, but I see how angry they are all the time. And it's like, why are y'all so angry and bitter all the time about stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, retrain your mindset.
Restream Google Chrome row 1 column 204. Copy Google Chrome column 3 3 4.
It's just something that in most cases people just don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And look, right now I can guarantee you there's some out there that know me, and they come and listen to a stream, they're going to be saying, no, that's bullshit. He don't know what he's talking about, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. But I know these things that we come on and talk about, these are not things where me and Brandon just come up with a guess on what the outcome could be. This is stuff that look, I've lived it. I've lived it. I've been at the bottom. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to feel like no one loves you. I know what it feels like to go through mental abuse. I know what it feels like to feel like you're not important to anybody. I know what that stuff feels like. Now, not jumping into Brandon's personal life, but he also knows. We know what it feels like to feel unwanted. We know what it feels like to live a life where you struggle to get by day by day. Guys, I won't sit here and tell you that everything in my life is 100% perfect, because it is not. Okay? It is not. But what I will tell you is I'm doing something about it. I could be right now out there hanging out with people that would destroy my life. It is very easy to go back to the old lifestyle and live that life. But I choose not to. And by choosing not to, that keeps me motivated going the other direction. Doing things to, one, better my life, but two, just to make me happy. So let me ask you, do you want to be happy? Do you want to live your life with true happiness? Well, if you do something about it. Get rid of the thoughts, I can't. Those two words do not exist in my life.
I don't even put those words in my vocabulary.
Or it's not possible. Doesn't exist in my life.
Here's another one that doesn't exist for me. It's not doable.
Does not exist. But let me ask you, what about you? How many times do you tell yourself, I can't do that? I'll never get that. I'll never get there. I'll never do any better. See, the negative side of things is so easy to keep you there. It's so easy to stay on the negative side. And let me ask you, out of curiosity, Brandon, do you know why it's so easy?
Because it's the easiest, most convenient thing to grasp onto.
Give me a little more reflection on it.
So when you're told over and over and over that you can't do something, or something's not possible, or it's not doable, day in and day out, you're going to come to believe that yourself. And it's hard to break that cycle when you believe that strongly.
That's a good example. It's because it is a lazy way to live. It's the simple way. The simple way is to say, I can't. It's simple. You say, I can't. You tell yourself that. Your mind tells you that over and over. You don't do nothing about it. And while you're living your life the way you're living it, maybe on drugs, or maybe continuing to, maybe you're in a relationship where you put up with being treated bad. It's because it's the easiest answer. But you know what I think? I think that everybody, I think that if you're one of those people, I think that you, let me rephrase that. I know that you can change that. Right now, today. I know that you can change that lifestyle that you're living. I don't even got to question it. I don't need Brandon to give me a list of reasons why you can. I know you can. And he knows you can. Let me give you a couple just to help you out. Because one, you are smart enough to do it. You are a good person. You can succeed. And the list just goes on and on. And now all you need to do is tell yourself that every day. So what I want to talk about before we go is something that, and I believe I've even done this with Brandon before. It won't take that long. But it's a way of putting together a strategy that you can use every day in your life. And I guarantee you success. I'm guaranteeing that if you follow this exercise, I guarantee you your life will change for the better. And like I said, there might be people that take this and just throw it out and say it's garbage. But I am a living, walking witness to what I'm about to show you. I know it works. I use it every day in my life. Every single day. So, Brandon, what is the one thing that you can do? Well, let me ask you it this way. What is it called that people can do to start that change? What is it that starts it? Do you know?
I don't know, but I do know the exercise that you're talking about, waking up and giving yourself
Nope, not
5
that one.
minutes.
Nope,
Not that one.
not that one. That one's just to motivate you. This is connected with that, though. It's goal setting.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know how to goal set the right way, you will succeed. Everything that I've done so far in the last 8 years, I use goal setting to get there. Listen, before I started college, I didn't have anything. Now, Brandon can tell you the same thing. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a good job and all that. But I decided that it was enough. So I went back to school. I got my diploma. That was my first goal. Actually, to be honest, my goal was to actually, the first thing I put on my goal list was go to college. But I had to achieve some other things. And that's where the goal setting comes in place. If you put together your goal setting the right way and you follow it, I guarantee you will succeed, my friend. And it works with anything. Some people, you know the problem with setting goals, Brandon? Do you know where the problem is, why people never finish it? Do you know
Because
what the
people
problem
don't
is?
write them down.
That's right. You got that dead on. So what happens when they don't write it down?
They forget and they don't remember what their goals were.
It's so easy to forget. It's so easy to have, one goal and you're excited and all this, but you didn't write it down. And all of a sudden, as time goes on, you slowly drift away from it. A little farther, a little more, And before you know it, that goal that you had set is at the very back of your mind. All because you said, oh, I won't forget. So I'm telling you, either write it down or record it. But do it in a way to where you will see that goal every day. You want to be able to see it. You want to be able to look at it. You want to be able to hear it. You
Or
want to be
you
able
can
to
put it
hear
in your
the
phone
steps.
in your reminders.
Yeah, exactly. You can make it a reminder and put all the notes under with it. So the easiest thing to do is you pick the goal. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use one that will allow me to show you some examples. So let's say back when I said, oh, I'm going to go to college. Now, that's all good and all, but to go to college, I had some stuff I had to do. So under going to college, I had to write down the sub goal list. So it's like an index to the goal, go to college, right? And under that was get my diploma. I had to get my diploma before I could reach that goal. So for that, for example, the getting my diploma, that took me doing some research. So I needed to do research. I had to look into some different programs where it would work the best. So that ended up becoming my first goal over top of going to college. So when you set a goal, make sure that you set it in a list that you can follow. For example, let's say you've got the goal that you want to get a new car, but you don't have a license. So then getting your license would go to the top, and then you would need to put everything under getting your license that you would need to do to be able to get your license. So what's it take? You got to study. Then after you study, you got to get your permit. After you get your permit after 6 months, and you go and take the test. All them things would get wrote down underneath of get my license. I'm telling you, I know there's a lot of people that's going to say it sounds stupid, but Brandon can tell you there's even been people in our community that's used this very same thing, and it improved their life.
I actually used it about 2 years ago when I was looking for a church. I wrote down, find a good church. And I was like doing all the research, finding out which churches are good, which ones.
And the whole thing is, if you're able to look at what you're doing, it keeps you put in check.
Mm-hmm.
However you do your list for goal setting, do it in a way to where you will see it. No matter what, you're going to see it every day.
Yeah, with me, I put mine in my reminders app, find a good church.
Because if you do that, like for example, if you put it as a reminder, the only way you're not going to see it every day is if you intentionally get rid of it. And then that's going to fall back to being right back to what I said in the beginning. I can't. Just got in front of it and had you throw it to the side again. There are a lot of things that if you just stop and you organize things a little bit, you could turn things around in your life. Now, that doesn't take away those that are reaching out, that need help. It's okay to need help, but you got to reach out to get the help. If you know you're getting nowhere alone, don't live your life that way. Don't beat yourself up every day. all because you could get one person to talk to help you get through the thick of hard times. Guys, I wish that I could do these streams and everyone would hear it. Because I know that this stuff matters and I know that it works. The advice that we give you here, it's stuff that's real. It really works. It's not just a talk show of me and Brandon just doing it to do it. We do it because it works. I would be streaming this through our new page for the drug addiction, but I can't do that yet. Again, I've got a goal that I've set for this to where I'm going to start marketing this talk show that we have every day. And by doing that, what's that going to do? Brandon, what happens when we start doing that?
That's going to help people.
And it's going to build our talk show. It's going to make it where it's more than just one or two people that hear it. It'll turn it into something bigger than what it is now. I've got to do my own goal setting for this talk show. But it's for a good cause. But I get it. We understand that some of you are out there and you do need assistance. Because there is a time in anybody's life to where they just don't care. I've been there. And I still struggle with that one from time to time. And maybe you do want to do the goal setting and maybe you need help. Then reach out. Send us an email. You send an email, we can set up a time where you can talk with me or you can talk with Brandon, either one of us, depending on our schedules, and we'll help you put it together.
Stupid phone calls.
Or maybe you just need someone to talk to, someone that will just be there to listen. Then we're okay doing that too. But the only way things get better is when you stop blaming the world for everything that's happened. Stop pointing fingers. And I'm not saying, because there is situations where it wasn't your fault. But it does no good to continuously blame and then just sit down. Take away the negative, replace it with positive, reach out to someone if you need help. Otherwise, guys, start doing the goal setting. I promise you it works. Just like the exercise in the mind, what Brandon brought up earlier, about giving yourself 5 minutes of motivation every morning before you start your day. I know that works. 100%.
Oh, it definitely works.
I'm not the only one that's done that. Brandon's done it.
I still do it every day.
I've got another guy that I've known for a pretty good amount of time through the blind community. He did it. You know, I've got a lot of people outside of the blind community that did it. They did it, and they're still doing it. But their life has gotten better because they give themselves positive thoughts. It's the process of a positive mindset.
You'll definitely not be angry when you do it, that's for sure.
the more you do it, the more you'll wake up and start feeling good about who you are. You don't deserve second best. You deserve number one. There's a lot of people out there that are in relationships where they're miserable and they don't do anything about it. A lot of times they don't know how. Well, if that's you, your first step is reaching out to one of us. Let us help you. No one deserves to be in a relationship where you're being abused. If you're going through that today, call us. Let me help you out. And Brandon can tell you without digging into anything personal on my end, but he can tell you 100% that one, I can definitely help you. And number two, I will help you. And number three, you will succeed from it. Calling me, reaching out to me and letting me help you is probably the best thing that you'll say has happened to you. I do these streams because I want to see people grow. I want to see them go out of that negative lifestyle and walk into the positive side of the world where they wake up feeling good about who they are. They're happy about where they got to go to work tomorrow. They're happy with whoever they're laying beside or whoever they're talking to. They're happy with themselves. That's what it's about. Be happy with who you are. Don't take being second best. Don't take that. I don't claim to be better than anybody, but I can tell you I'm not second best. I'm number one. In my life, I am number one. In Brandon's life, he is number one.
Yep.
In my friend Chris's life, he is number one. In my friend Shelly's life, she is number one. In my friend Lisa's life, she is number one. In my friend Tammy's life, she is number one. In my friend Greg's life, he is number one. Tony, he is number one. These are people that I have helped, and their life has turned around completely. All from that one move of reaching out and saying, John, I need help. I don't know what to do. Don't ruin your life with depression. Don't ruin your life with drug addiction. Don't ruin your life with being number two. Because you deserve to be at number one, my friend. Now, Brandon's done a lot of streams with me, and he wouldn't sit here and tell you something that's not true. And I'm telling you that when you reach out for the help, you're going to get it.
And it's okay to ask for help if you need it.
It's going to change your life for the better. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be noticed. To have positive accountability. By changing your life around with self-approach, with motivation, self-esteem. We want to help you, and that's why we're here tonight. So if you are going through something, or maybe you just feel alone, or maybe you feel like you just can't do it, you don't have it, let us help you, my friend. That's why we do this. That's why we do these live streams. Our email is in the description. You can click that. Send us an email. I'm going to have a phone number available for you in about another week that you'll be able to call. And if no one answers, you'll be able to leave a message. And then one of us will return the call and help you. But more likely, someone will answer. The way that it's going to be set up, the odds of getting to the voicemail where you got to leave a message is going to be very slim. I want to build a mountain of success with you. But we can't guess who needs help. We can't make you do anything. But we can encourage it. Let me ask you, Brandon, when you was going through your own deals, how easy was it to stay in that slump of being depressed?
Oh, it was easy, but I chose not to do it because I was like, I don't want to be depressed all the time.
How did you see your life becoming better? What if I was to ask you now, Brandon, what can you tell me today? How much has your life changed since you was beating yourself up?
Oh, it's changed for the better. I'm not as angry as I used to be all the time. And I think also going to a good church has really helped me too.
Was you angry? Was you angry with the world when
I
you
was?
And so give me a little bit on that. Give me a little bit of reflection on that. How was you angry at the world? Like what was the difference then compared to what you are today?
So I'll give you an
what
example.
Did you do?
So I'll give you an example of that. So we had 4 years ago, and I remember this very well. It was around February, around Valentine's Day. We had a horrible blizzard here in Texas, which I hope we don't have one of those again. And if it comes, you're getting a phone call, sir. I'll be looking at you. But no, we had a blizzard that lasted for a week, and I was upset at the power company, and I had posted to Facebook, and I had said something to the effect of, "Wow, this is a horrible service. This company's terrible. Like, why are they're always blaming everybody else?" And then, of course, I got somebody who was a friend of mine telling me, "Hey, don't blame them. They're doing the best they can." And I said, "Yeah, and I would suppose you would know, right? Because you work for them." Like, I would lash out at him like that and call him all sorts of names, versus if that happened today, I wouldn't do that. I just go on about my business.
So because you made that change, you have a better perspective on others.
Yeah, I still don't like the company, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Wow, this is horrible." Like, I'm not going to like rage at people like I used to. Well, you remember, I used to rage all the time at like little
I
things.
do. Yeah.
I'll give you another example. Remember, can anybody tell me what this thing means, bank
Hold on.
angle?
Run dialog. Notepad. Downloads. Download notepad. Documents. Documents. Text. Documents. File Explorer. Items view list.
Let me see
Background.mp3. B. Chime card. Hit.wav 50. Miss.wav. Start sound. TF.
I was hoping.
Start sound. Miss.wav 60.
Oh,
Address
no.
1 of 60. Amanda. Audio 3 of 60. Audio game 4 of 6. Conflict 1.0. Flight. FSF. FSO. FSU. FS. Game. G. IS. Join FS. Join F. Junior. Christian. Madden. Micro. Miriam. Movies. My kids. My web. My rock. Better. PA. Part. Person. PM. Save. Save. Site. Sim. Extreme 38 of
I don't
62.
think I have
Background.mp. B. Hit on off. Missed on off. Start sound.
Well, let me rephrase that.
TFM 23.2.
I do have it, but
Talkie microphone record.
it's not on here.
Ops 30.2. Stream Google Chrome column 3 stream document. Toolbar. Address search y o u t u e e dot c o m youtube.com/upload.
I'm
YouTube creator
pretty
studio.
sure I uploaded that to
Clickable upload videos.
YouTube.
Clickable button. Upload videos. Clickable save
I don't
close
know if
button.
you did.
Clickable select files button.
I'm pretty sure I
Toolbar.
did.
Address blank.
Let
Blank.
me
D
see.
7% quote. D 80%. Y o u t u unselected. Yout upload.
I
Y
thought
o
I
u t u
did.
u e dot c o m
I don't
unselected.
think
Slash
so.
slash selected. Blank upload D blank D a o l p u. Slash blank. YouTube. Clickable dialog. Banner landmark. Clickable button guide. Visit link W. Clickable dialog. Banner landmark. Clickable skip navigation. Search landmark. Search combo box as autocomplete editable blank. B V I. Space. Space I V B.
Let's see.
B V I P I L O T S. Space. B R A N D O N. Space. M A D 4043. YouTube document. Guide button.
Let me see.
YouTube home with clickable button. Main landmark. Clickable out. Land with zero flight plus other chat by BVI. Clickable best international dating site. Heading clickable art innovates life. The Brandon Velasquez story by clickable BFR annual flight review. Clickable free guide to write your book updated. Clickable B29 docket air venture. Clickable says the 280 caravan crash. Burley ID by Michael Euro. Clickable accidental takeoff of Victor Bob.
Maybe I don't, but
Clickable when you should do it. Don't see ATC operators. Clickable accidental takeoff of Victor Bob. Rivero explains what happened. IP1 clickable when you should do it. Don't see ATC operator. Clickable accidental takeoff of Victor.
I was just
He's-
looking at this, and there was a title of a video called "Accidentally Took Off." How do you accidentally take off an airplane? Now you tell me that. How is that possible?
Accidentally took off.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Clickable button. Clickable. Clickable
Yeah,
heading
I'd
level
like
3 link
to know
accidental takeoff of
that
Victor Bob. Rivero
myself.
tape
Enlighten
off
us,
of
folks.
off tape
How do you
accidental
accidentally
tape
take
off
off in an aircraft?
Accidental takeoff
Bob.
of
Rivero.
Victor Bob.
Explains. Rivero.
Guys, we're
Untitled Google Chrome.
changing the
YouTube.com/.
topic here a little bit, but I've got to see. Hold on.
I don't know how you do that.
I really wanted to fly, I think, from the time I was about 6 or 7. I was making model aeroplanes and flying them,
No, I cannot.
and it never really occurred to me to do anything else other than fly.
No, I
Leaving
cannot. This is
school
why I
at
don't
18,
like-
went straight to Cranwell and did the academic and flying courses there, and
Would
was
that be up to
posted
the
straight
mic
away
when
onto
you can't hear
Victor's. I ended up
I
by
cannot
flying
hear
it all
that,
my
no.
flying career. And I was surprised to find when I went
You
back
don't hear
in my
that guy
logbook that actually I'd
No.
first flown this particular aeroplane in 1964 when I collected it from the manufacturers. And my last operational trip was actually in this particular aircraft
can't hear
again, some years
I
later
think the
in
phone's got
1980.
good
YouTube video.
noise
Clickable. Seek slider slider 0 minutes 2 seconds of 5 minutes 6 seconds.
Well, anyways,
Heading level 3 visit
I
link.
just thought it was
Clickable
funny.
when you should do it. Don't see ATC operators. People also watch heading level 2. Clickable my life DC free.
I just
Clickable
don't know
B29
how you
docket clickable send
accidentally
silver
take
equal.
off in an
Clickable E
aircraft.
lightning zoom extra. Clickable Asian women 40 plus. Clickable come and fly with us or find out how to begin flying in the sim by BVI pilots 12 views stream 2 years ago 2 hours. Clickable NTSD releases. Clickable come and fly with us or find out how to begin flying in the sim by BVI pilots 12 views stream 2 years ago 2 hours. 4 minutes link heading level 3. Clickable NTSD releases recorded at BVS. Clickable meet Asian women 40 plus heading level 3.
Oh, here you go, Brandon. Meet Asian women, 40 years old or younger.
Clickable come and fly with us or find out how to begin
thank you.
Clickable NTSD releases recorded at WVST helicopter crash by WTVR CBS 6125. Clickable FS 2020 discussions about our thoughts by BVI pilots 14. Clickable fly pilots in the blind community making history with flight sim by
You
BVI
should
pilots.
upload
Clickable
that
FS 2020
thing
discussions about our thoughts by
to
BVI pilots 14
YouTube
views 2
that
years
I
ago 38
did,
minutes link heading level 3.
with
Clickable fly pilots in the blind community making history with flight sim by
that
BVI
is
pilots 18 news 4 years ago 1 hour 9
funny.
minutes link heading level 3.
Well, here's a title that goes way back. Wow.
Heading level 3 heading level 3 link
What's
pilots and the blind community.
BVI pilots in the
Making history
blind community
with flight
making
simming.
history with flight simming. This was 4 years ago.
Heading level 3 link years ago 1 hour 9
Oh
minutes.
my
Button icon
god.
button. 18 news bullet 4 years ago.
Holy
Visit link of the channel.
crap.
Clickable visit link BVI pilots. Clickable fly pilots in the blind community making history with flight simming. Listen to this video as we cover some really exciting topics. Heading level 2 explore
Boy,
more.
that does go
Clickable
way
fly clickable
back.
visit 18 button icon button. Heading level 3 link years ago 1 hour 9 minutes. Heading level 3 link fly pilots in the blind community making history with flight simming by BVI pilots 18 news 4.
God, that goes way back.
YouTube.com/watch equals. Clickable
All right,
and
what is up,
seek
you
slider
guys?
slider
Welcome
clickable.
back to
Button off.
We
BVI
gotta have
Pilots.
an
Glad to be here.
end-of-year
Play keyboard shortcut K.
Simming special, like to pull all our stuff together from then to now. Like that would be awesome.
What's that?
Having like a little end of year special, like to pull our stuff from 4 years ago and then coming up to now to see how far we've come.
We might do that. We might very well do that. Go through YouTube and grab all the different videos we've done. I mean,
Button shift plus index button K play keyboard shortcut K.
this was 4
Pause, K.
years
Guys,
ago.
everybody's doing all right tonight.
Clickable. Seek slider slider 0.
I
Seek slider
wanted
slider 0
to
minutes 1 minute 6 seconds 1 hour
with
9 minutes 1
BVI
minutes 9 seconds 2 minutes 9
register
seconds 2
for
minutes 10
new accounts, which
2 minutes 12
will require one of the administrators or moderators of the website to approve you for access.
And I am getting a little hungry.
What's he talking about here? Hold on.
Aside from that, right now there's not really much content up there. There is a BVI Virtual Airlines policy.
3 minutes 30 seconds, 1 hours 9 minutes 37 seconds, 4 minutes 31 seconds, 1 hour 5
Nice
minutes 31
thing
seconds, 1 hours 9 minutes
is-
36 minutes 32 seconds, 7 minutes 33 seconds, 1 hours 9 minutes 37
Yeah,
seconds, 7 minutes 34 seconds, 1 hours 9 minutes 37
I
seconds, 7 minutes
recommend
35
for people to check mark that box when registering because it's a good way.
Play keyboard shortcut K.
Anyways, back to the
40
topic,
43
what we
40
were
43 Fiddle random
first talking about.
40 43 Fiddle
Guys, all I can say is
40 43 40 43 Talkie Google Chrome row 1 column 2 4 Talkie document
I understand how some might be feeling going through addiction. I understand how some might be feeling dealing with depression. Stop beating yourself up. If you feel like there's nowhere to go, we're here to tell you that you're wrong. So continue to follow the live streams that we do, either here on Facebook or you can find us on YouTube. Just look up Lounging with John. It's all one word. You'll find it. Or you can just go to youtube.com/Lounging with John and subscribe to the channel. Set your notifications always so you're notified. This is going to be something that I continue to do. And hopefully Brandon as well. But I speak for myself because I try not to speak for other people. But it's just something that I think it's a good thing.
Exactly.
And the reason that I'm focusing on this a little bit more right now, with the time of year that it is, it's Christmas right around the corner.
Next week, as a matter of fact.
That can be a really hard time for some people. I don't want you to feel like you're alone on Christmas. You need someone to talk to. That's what we do. So don't be scared to reach out. All right. Otherwise, if you're already here on the channel listening, make sure you're subscribed. Like I said, set your notifications always. That way you're notified every time that we go live or publish a new video. For everybody else out there listening, if you've been putting stuff in the chat, I didn't even try to get into the Facebook to try to even get. I should have went on my phone and just had it turned down, and I could watch the chat that way. So I don't know who we had through Facebook. I'll have to go look here a little bit later. But a shout out to all my friends out there on Facebook. If you're watching, shout out to my sister Kimber, if you're watching or listening. Shout out to Heather. Anybody else out there that might be watching. Zoe. You know I love you, girl. But that's about all we got for tonight.
40 43 Ops 30.2 Ops 30.
Tomorrow we'll come back. I'm not sure what we're going to stream about tomorrow, but we'll see. Because I don't want to leave out bullying and all that, because it's something that's still a problem today. We need to actually do a live stream on some more Simex stuff.
I agree.
So,
Ooh, even SpaceX.
yeah, that's what I meant with SpaceX. But
Start record, stop streaming, check box check.
so maybe that tomorrow night.
I'll have to go
Start
look
recording,
up
stop
what
streaming,
they're doing.
Start recording, check box, stop streaming, check box check.
And maybe we'll see what's new or what's going on. What is going on in the galaxy? Because you never know. There is so much with space now that you really don't know everything that's going on anymore, because there's a lot more freedom to being able to, to build your own stuff and go.
Thank goodness.
It's not tied down to just NASA anymore.
Yeah, you got SpaceX. You got a company here in Texas.
Oh, there's a
another
lot of
one.
them that's private that don't list themselves, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, take care. Maybe tomorrow night that's what we'll do. I love y'all.
Start recording, stop streaming, check box check.
Y'all have a good night. Please, if you need someone to talk to, reach out. If you're on Facebook, well, send me a message. I'm always here to talk to people when, if they need it. It's what I do. It's what I do best. So, y'all take care.